Okay, this kind of goes along with what we were talking about, but just to formalize this a little more, talking about tangent. Tangent is opposite over adjacent, or y over x. We could also think of it as rise over run. So we can think of tangent of theta as rise over run, which is the slope of the angle. Okay, in other words, the tangent value of this angle tells me the slope of this line that is the angle. It's the terminal side of the angle. So that helps us with remembering some things about tangent. So we can think about what we know about slope. If we have a vertical line a horizontal line like this, we know that we have a slope equal to 0. So at 0 degrees and 180 degrees, tangent equals 0. And I'm not putting I have tangent of an angle, so I'm just kind of saying that tangent is 0 here. Now if we look at a vertical line, which would be at 90 or at 270, slope is undefined here. So if slope is undefined, that means tangent of 90 and tangent of 270 are also undefined. Because when you do rise over run, the denominator equals 0 because there is no change in the horizontal direction with a vertical line. This also helps us find a couple of some other tangent values. If we look at a 45-degree angle right here, this is 1 over 1. So we actually have a slope of 1. So the slope equals 1. That means tangent equals 1 at these two angles, at 45 degrees and at 225. Now remember, in 225 we had -1 over -1, both the change in x and the change in y being negative here, so negative over a negative makes a positive. And then if we go the other direction with a 45-degree angle, that has a slope equal to -1. So that means tangent also equals to -1 at 135 and at 315. Those have a slope of 1 or a tangent value, slope of -1 or a tangent value of -1. Now, one other piece of information about slope, and I know you probably don't have as much space on your page, you'll just have to kind of tuck it in wherever it fits. But I want to show you the relationship between sine, cosine, and tangent. Let's look at the ratios. Tangent is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. What happens if we divide the two? Sine of theta divided by cosine of theta equals opposite over hypotenuse divided by adjacent over hypotenuse. Now, let's think about what happens when we divide two fractions. So if we divided like 3/4 divided by 5/4, that's the same as saying 3/4 times 4 over 5, which is 3/5. In other words, we could also think of multiplying both the numerator and the denominator by 4, which would divide out the 4's. This just simplifies to 3/5. So this just simplifies to O over A. The hypotenuse divide out. So what is opposite over adjacent equal? Tangent of theta. So we have this relationship that tangent of theta equals sine of theta divided by cosine of theta. We can see this really clearly when we look back at the previous chart in the part with the quadrantal angles. Sine of tangent of 0 is sine over cosine. 0 over 1 is 0. Tangent of 90 is sine over cosine. 1 over 0, which is undefined. Tangent of 180 is 0 over -1, which is 0, and tangent of 270 is -1 over 0, which is undefined.